Okay, so we wanted just to show you a number of these tweets from officials of relevant parties and to how they are responding to this today. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Andrew Kraft. Let's talk about this even further. Let's bring into the conversation right now Hunter Shkolnik. He's an aviation attorney. He's been following this story very closely today. Hunter, thanks so much for being with us. My first question to you, though, is we've been kind of covering all of the angles having to do at the very top echelons of the Department of Transportation, at the White House, at the FAA. But if you're a consumer, if you're an American customer of one of these airlines today and you were impacted by this, what redress do you have?
That's it's a really hard pill to swallow here, because there is no redress for the stranded customers today. This type of grounding or shutdown of the system by FAA is not considered to be the fault of the airlines. And there really is no avenue of redress for the customers. They're sitting there, they're upset, they're angry, and unfortunately, there isn't much that can be done.
Yeah, because, unlike what we saw during the, Southwest Airlines fiasco over the Christmas holiday, that had to do with a, airline, a public carrier, and so, they are going to be responsible to their consumers. This was a government entity, the FAA. So how can they, if at all, work with, some of the airlines about, possible reimbursements? We're learning from Delta today, Hunter, that a fare difference waiver for all Delta and Delta connection flights will give customers additional flexibility to change their flights. So that's what Delta is giving their customers.
This is an opportunity for these airlines to do something right. They were slammed, and rightfully so, for what happened over the Christmas holidays. Southwest situation, this was the airline's fault. Here, this is not the airline's fault, but if you're looking at your customers, it would be the death of these airlines to say, we're going to charge you change fees. We're going to make it harder for you to get home or to get to go see your loved ones. Here is an opportunity for them to do the right thing, to make the customers realize that these airlines do care.
Yeah.
Here, the FAA was at fault. This NOTAM system, you can't fly planes without it. I mean, we rely on those. When you're in the air and a runway is shut or there's a diversion, the airlines have to be able, or the pilots have to be able to follow these notices. That system shut down for whatever reason. And here, it's not the airline's fault. It's FAA's fault. It's a computer system fault. But the airlines can really capitalize on this by doing the right thing the way Delta did.
Yeah, and Hunter, so this impacted nearly 4,600 flights, coming into and going out of the country. Early this morning, it seems like it was, rectified pretty quickly. It didn't, impact flights all throughout the day for the, duration of the 24 hours here. Let's talk about the 30,000-foot view from this. What's going on with the airline industry? I think a lot of Americans are questioning the reliability of it, the efficacy of it, especially coming off the pandemic. Do you have your own concerns about how some of these, private and public airline carriers are being managed, and what the government response has been like to some of these crises?
Well, number one, we have to say our airline industry is safer than it ever has been. So, from our perspective, lawyers that represent families in tragedies and other aviation disaster situations, we are in a safe period. What we're seeing is mismanagement. We're seeing airlines that are not replacing employees, pilots, flight attendants, other support personnel, as they should be. They got bailed out by the pandemic money that flowed. The government helped them when they were down, and they put the money in their pocket. They didn't go back and reinvest it and keep those employees and replace them. They have got to do that. They have got to fix the problem that they let help develop during the pandemic, while they pocketed all that money, the billions of dollars, hire more pilots, more flight attendants, more ground crews, more people at the desk. I mean, that's what they have to do now. And the government has to step up and say, we gave you that money. Now you better fix this problem or you're going to have to deal with us.
Okay, in addition, though, just lastly, Hunter, with all of these crises that, both from the government angle and the private sector angle, we've seen with airlines throughout the last couple of months, who is to be held to account? Is it Secretary Pete Buttigieg? Is it the head of the FAA? Does some of these airline CEOs need to step aside? Do board votes need to happen, votes of confidence or no confidence? It seems like these problems keep persisting. Maybe the funding is not there to update some of these antiquated systems, but the same people are in these leadership roles. What's going on here?
Well, I think the system is safe. I think the FAA has the proper guidelines in place. We're upgrading airports. The people at the top of the airlines have got to do their jobs. They've got to replace the missing employees. We need more pilots. We need more flight attendants. We need more maintenance people. They've got to spend the money. Stop paying dividends. Stop, paying big salaries up in the corporate headquarters. Get us more pilots, get us more flight attendants, and get more planes in the air. Stop cutting back on flights. Stop cutting back on routes that you consider less profitable. Do the right thing. Hire people. Keep those planes in the air. The government has given you what you need. Yeah. Now do it.
Yeah. All right, Hunter Shkolnik, as always, we appreciate your insight into these, top stories of the day, and we'll talk again. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay, thanks there.